I like this, so everybody likes this fallacy. The first thing people will think of when hearing this will be Dark Souls. Which is a fine example. Few communities are so, this is the only good way to do X as this one. But I'm talking about many more people. There really is no other feeling quite like X, or this is the best free-to-play game there is, so you have to join us, can just as well fall under this. Just because you enjoy something doesn't mean other people will. It might sound obvious, but it's a far from rare statement. And just in case people tell me that I should get good at Dark Souls, I got good. I beat Ludex Gundyr, Wold of the Boreal Valley, Curse-Rotted Greatwoods, Crystal Sage, Abyss Watcher, Deacons of the Deep, High Lord Volnir, Old Demon King, Pontiff Sullivan, Njorm the Giant, Aldrich Devourer of Gods, and Dancer of the Boreal Valley. After that, I realized I just wasn't having fun while playing the game, so I stopped. I got good, I also got bored. Different people enjoy different things. Some people enjoy a tough challenge. Some people enjoy a really tough challenge. And some people don't get any joy out of a challenge. I, for instance, enjoy a fun challenge. A tough challenge can be a good way to get engaged, but it needs to be simple enough to be enjoyable. I don't get any satisfaction out of a dragon lying dead on the ground in Skyrim. If I wanted that, I could use the console command and type in kill. I get a huge kick out of a dragon winding up to breathe fire over me, but smack him in the face with my shields to interrupt him. But the well-timed dodge in Dark Souls does nothing for me. The game is so tough that I need full concentration for the game, meaning that I have no concentration left to have fun with. Maybe that's true too for people who like Dark Souls, but they also seem to get enjoyment out of having beaten a challenge, and not everyone does. Me, for instance, gets nothing out of having beaten a challenge. I can get fun out of being in the process of beating a challenge, but once the challenge is done, so is the fun I can get from it. And do you think I'm alone in this? Of course not. If I'm like this, that means that there are tons of people just like this. And do you think there are only 2 groups? Of course not. If there's more than one, there are a ton. There will be people out there who don't get anything out of a challenge. They just get in the way. But some people would say that they should be watching movies or read books if that's the case. But if you believe that games are just the challenges within, I think you're doing games a big disservice. You are leaving out all the ways that being a character within a story can make people feel more engaged. Something like Firewatch would not be the same if you weren't controlling the character. Something like Yonder wouldn't work in any other medium. Also be careful when using words like meaningful. Progression in Dark Souls is meaningful because you need to actually work for it. But what has meaning is also very personal. For instance, let me go over a couple of the most meaningful moments in my history of gaming. Getting annoyed with the flooded district in Dishonored. I ruined the enjoyment of the end of Dishonored for me. I wanted to finish it. I wanted to punish the people who wronged me, and I wanted to save the life of my little girl. This resulted in me playing for too long and too late, and with me getting very annoyed. And it resulted in the end meaning so much more. Saying that, this one will of course go in as a sex slave. This was with Georgia, my asshole, racist, egotistical, vampire alchemist Khajiit. My roleplay characters are never flawless, but they also always have good parts about them. And for some reason, those are always things I need to learn. I'll make a video about that at a later point. If there was one huge positive about Georgia, it was that she was confident. And this moment where I just went, well, of course this one is going in as a sex slave. Everyone wants her. Was such a big character moment, both for me and Georgia. Waving goodbye to Maddie. It's a game I never hear anyone talk about. A story about my uncle. Which is a real shame. But when you float away from your companion, when most people would have probably looked forward towards the ice caves, I just looked back at Maddie, hoping I said goodbye, but knowing I said farewell. But the oldest and oddest of them all, writing in my journal as Adriana. This was my first roleplay playthrough ever. And the main way I built my character was through her journal. For someone who starts roleplaying, writing down what happened every day as your character is a great way to start. And the character and character arc I wrote through this journal is probably, to me, the most meaningful character arc ever. And you'll notice none of my most meaningful moments in gaming have anything to do with gameplay. Well, that is what most people that talk about meaningful progression or moments in games talk about. What is meaningful to someone depends on that someone. What's meaningful to me generally is character based. But many people find more enjoyment in stories. People like Total Biscuit are more mechanic focused. And there will be tons more things that people care about, that people find meaningful, that I can't think of because I'm just one person. Now, why is talk like this such a problem for me? Two reasons. The first reason is that I think it's bad for many people if all people say is, this is the way to do it. For instance, what message does it send to developers and publishers? What if people echo so much that Dark Souls is the only way to do RPGs, that the next Elder Scrolls will be all focused on combat, and you will no longer be able to have your own stories within the world? What if people said so much that The Witcher was the way to do RPGs, that Bethesda changed Fallout to be more witchery? Talking in absolutes kills discussions and conversations. It kills our ability to listen to what other people have to say. It kills our ability to see other viewpoints. It's an extreme, and extremes are never good in the end. And the other reason is that I just find it hard to understand. I hate saying this, but I'm relatively smart. Maybe it's because of that I'm better at seeing the bigger picture. That I can see that I'm just one person and that I only have one way to see things. Maybe it's that I'm so insane while most people aren't, that I've figured out that people think differently. But what I fail to comprehend is people being unable to see this. People that seem to fail to see that different people don't just look different, act different, but also like different. That just because you like something one way, that it doesn't mean that everybody does. I guess I'm not smart enough to truly understand stupidity. All I really want to say with this is to try and avoid saying things like, this is the way to do X. Remember that it's just a way to do X that you like, but other people might very well not. And those opinions are just as valid. This has been Phoenix, saying farewell.